Hello, I'm Dr. Will Sticks, and today we're returning to the Domains of Dread. If you haven't watched part 1 of this video, it's linked in the description. You don't need to watch that video, but I go over my ranking system in that video. Anyway, no time to dilly-dally, on to number 10. Number 10 is Dementlieu. It's probably not how you pronounce it, but what do I look like, an English major? I haven't even passed high school. A domain of riches and rivalries. This domain is a lavish land of beauty and delight. Or at least, that's what it looks like. Truly, this domain is kind of like a secret war to become the richest noble. Those of the lower class scrounge to appear middle class, while those of the middle class try their best to appear like fancy aristocrats. The entire domain is like an illusion. You never truly know who is behind the mask that you're speaking to, or what the person's dearest intentions are. In this domain, things are not as they appear. For lore, this domain has a 7 out of 10. This domain is entirely a city, unlike any other domain. The city is plagued by a figure known as the Red Death, that kills those who have lost everything to the point of being unable to keep up the appearance of wealth. Another interesting thing to note is that the domain's darklord isn't the ruler, but in fact one of the richest aristocrats. Settlements is a 4 out of 10. The settlements in Dementlieu kinda suck. They include a church, the darklord's house, and a house with some green hags. To be fair, Dementlieu has a long list of locales, but all domains have a bunch of locales with no information. Just because Dementlieu put them in the top corner doesn't mean that they're anything special. Adventure is 6 out of 10. Dementlieu has some quite unique adventure hooks, including people being swapped for animated wax figures, or a woman claiming to be the Dark Lord's stepsister. The greatest adventure is the Dark Lord's masquerade ball. The players must invade, gain an invitation, and don disguises, hoping not to be revealed as fraud, or unmasked by the Red Death herself. The book includes some rules for mingling with guests and random complications for the party to work around. The ball is a great adventure. You could honestly probably design a multiple session adventure just taking place in that one ball. Horror is 8 out of 10. This domain, unlike the others, has a great helping of horror, with not a single thing being as it seems, while the Red Death wreaks havoc upon the city. Dementlieu's fear comes from not knowing who you're talking to, or what they can be up to. Even the most innocent-seeming person has the most devious intentions. Ignoble says that they can't go to a rival's wedding, and so asks the party to go for them in their place. Unknown to the party, the wedding gift is a poisonous flower, and now the party's being charged for murder. Or a child who wants a doll at a toy shop doesn't want to play with, but instead to curse their older sibling so that they can be the heir to the estate. The citizens of Dementlieu don't just don masks, they also wear guises of being friendly and polite. But much like a wild rose, they all have their thorns. And if they're a wedding gift, they're likely poisoned. Lastly, the Dark Lord, Cedra Dionere, is quite an interesting person. She grew up with a father who told her that she was meant to be royalty, and that, in fact, his younger brother had exiled him from their rightful place as duke. Her father later remarried. Her mother died, forgot to mention that. Her new wife had 2 children that treated Cedra like basically a maid. One day, Cedra's stepmother mentioned that the local duke had passed away. Cedra asked if her father could now reclaim his throne. Her father then had to admit to her that the royalty was a lie, but she wasn't convinced. She fled to her mother's grave and begged for aid when an elderly woman gave her a dress and a ride to the ball the Duke was having. Forgot to mention that. The Duke was also having a ball. She went to the Duke's ball with the plans to murder him, but after dancing with the Duke, she instead had another idea, to marry the Duke and finally become royalty. Then murder him. Priorities, people. Priorities. Sadly, at midnight, horror struck as all those in the estate started dying. With his final breath, the Duke admitted that he wasn't the Duke's actual son, but instead Cedra's brother. Yeah. In anger, Cedra killed the false Duke, and as she did, the mist encroached. Now, in unlife, Cedra Diare, boy, I butchered that, throws balls and parties every 7 days, but isn't even able to enjoy them in her afterlife. She also has the constant fear of her stepmother or stepsisters coming from beyond the mists to unmask her for the fraud she is.